Hey guys, it's Coach Mike. Hey, I wanted to go over some baseball stuff with you, kind of break it down to nuts and bolts, do some stuff we've never done before, and really talk about responsibilities and what you're supposed to be doing. Because when you're playing the game of baseball, it's in Little League you don't always see it, but when you get into the upper levels and you start playing like really competitive baseball, what you do is you see a lot of movement on the field at all times, even if it's just nobody on base. Every single player is moving each and every play, get into the positions they need to be in. So I wanted to talk about some strategies that we have and where we should be going on any given play depending on where the ball is hit. So the plan would be to first review a few things like the numbering spots in the game of baseball. Like for example, the pitcher's always listed as 1, the catcher's 2, first base is 3, second base is 4, third base is 5, our shortstop 6, left field's number 7, center field's number 8, and right field's number 9. Okay, those are the main base positions. However, there are also 6 additional things that we always need to be aware of, and that's called the box on the right, the box in the center, the box on the left. There's also zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. Now, if you're thinking of your zones, a good way to remember our zones would be zone 1 is right by first base, zone 2 is right by home plate, and zone 3 is right by third base. That's a good way to remember those. However, those zones, those are kind of where you go depending on where the ball's hit. Everyone's got to make sure those zones are filled. There's only maybe one zone that's not occupied on any given play depending on what's going on. So with that being said, let's dive into it a little bit. Okay, down here I just kind of have an empty baseball field here. So this is our empty base scenarios, and that's just all I want to talk to you about today. Is what do we do? Nobody on. Let's just say nobody out. There's a guy at the plate. He's going to hit the ball. Where does everybody move to? Okay, so in our straight empty base formation, this is what we should look like unless we are in some other special play set which we haven't gone over yet. So in this case, my left fielder is going to be directly behind my shortstop. So 7 and 6 should be in a straight line. I should be able to draw a straight line straight through the two of you. Same with my right fielder and my second baseman. So these two guys are going to be directly across from one another. And if we're in our base formation, I want my center fielder, the number 8, being directly behind the base right there. Okay, and the reason I want those are it's our most flexible set, so the outfielder can cover the most field and not leave any real glaring holes there. Okay, everybody else, our third baseman is playing third base. Notice how he's not right on the base, he's a little bit off. Shortstop's right in the center, second base is right in the center of the two bases basically. First base, everybody else is lined up where they should be. Okay, so we have a base runner, or we have an empty base scenario here, okay? And we are going to look at what's going to happen if the baseball is hit to this side of the field. Okay, now that'd be either be a ground ball or a fly ball, okay? Now again, everybody should be moving on this play, right? So let's just say it's a ground ball over here. So my second baseman, my right fielder, and my first baseman are going to be the ones making a play. So let's just say it is hit in the general area of the second baseman, either a hit or a fly. Okay, so what's going to happen is 4 is going to make the play. So my 4 is going to stay there. My 9 is going to stay there. Okay, now where things get a little complicated is once the ball's hit and we've established where it's going to the right side of the field by second base or to the right fielder in his area. Okay, everybody else should be moving. Okay, so let's start with each responsibility here. My pitcher, if nobody's on, my pitcher is going to fill in to zone number 2. Okay, so my pitcher is going to run down here and cover the home plate area. That is going to be his area. My catcher, if nobody's on base, has to fill zone 1. So the catcher is going to come from here. He's going to finish in zone 1, and he is backing up the throw from second base here. So he's backing up that throw. So if the ball throw gets by our first baseman, the catcher should be there to back it up. Okay, this box is going to be empty. Okay, that's my box right is going to stay empty. Okay, my left fielder is going to come in and fill box 7. Okay, he's going to come in down, so he's going to be almost horizontal, like he's cutting the infield in half, right on that foul line to cover any weird throwing situations we have. Okay, my third baseman is going to go to his base. My shortstop is going to go to second base. Okay, my center fielder is going to come over here to the side of the ball's hit into the box center. So he's going to be in box center right there. First base is obviously at first base. So when we look at it, from starting at this position, we're going to finish, third base will be on third base, shortstop will be at second, 9 and 4 backing each other up. My center fielder is in the right side of the center box, nobody's in my right field box, and my catcher is backing up those throws. Okay, that's where we're sitting on that play. And then my left fielder is not just hanging out here in left field, he's coming over here to fill this box so he can kind of see the global thing and yell out calls. Okay, and my pitcher is covering zone 2. I know that seems weird, but look at all that movement that's taking place just on that one play. Okay, we're all shifting a different place, making sure one of our areas is filled so we have all our lanes. Okay, so that'd be if there's nobody on and the ball is hit to the right side. Okay, we're going to have our second baseman and right fielder going to be making the plays. Center field is going to come over and almost replace where the right fielder initially lined up. He should be there because the right fielder should be converging on behind second base. Catcher is now all the way over here in zone 1 behind the first baseman. My left fielder's in my box left, and my pitcher is covering my home plate. Everybody else is on their base. Okay, I know that seems complicated. But that's just stuff we're going to be working on all year long. Where do you go depending on where the ball's hit? Where do you go depending on where the ball's hit? So we are constantly moving and getting in the right spots. Okay, now that's just on the right side. It's probably the easier of them all. Okay, so I'm going to do the numbers in order this time. So we're going to start with how the pitcher moves on this one and work from there. So the pitcher's the one with the ball. We're going to say nobody's on the base. These are just empty base scenarios today. Okay? And in this case, we're going to say the ball is hit up the middle of the field. Okay? So the ball is hit up the middle of the field. So straight up past the pitcher. So it's in this area. So we'll just draw the ball coming up into kind of where my box is. There's my baseball. It's coming up like a ground ball up the middle. Okay? That nobody has a play on. Okay, whenever the ball is hit directly up the middle, okay, everybody's going to cover down bases. Okay, so the shortstop's going to make the play on it, but then they're going to come up and they're going to take box center. Okay, so my shortstop's going to take box center because he's going to be making a cutoff play. My center fielder is going to make a play on the ball if possible. If he can, he's going to get in and make the play. Oops, sorry. Yeah, we're just going to go in order like this. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go in order of positions, okay? So the ball's up the middle. My catcher, since there is nobody on, is going to be following the base runner, so he's going to be, again, in zone 1. He should be in zone 1 backing up any throw. So if the catcher, the first baseman, the pitcher, any of those guys make the play, he's going to converge there. My right fielder, who is here, is going to come cover box right. And the reason that is he's getting any balls that are going to fly off on a bad throw to first base, if there's a play at first base. My third baseman is going to lock in his spot. Now my left fielder is going to come again into the left box so he can get a global view of everything. My pitcher is going to come down here to zone 1 so the home plate is covered. And my second baseman is going to be there, and obviously my first baseman is going to be there. So it doesn't look too different. However, this time if the ball's this way, my shortstop is automatically going to go get into his box center for cutoff plays. Okay? That's what's going to happen there. So we went straight up to the second baseman right field area, straight up to the center field. That's what that would look like. See how everybody kind of converges? The only opening here would be my zone 3 opening, which makes a lot of sense if you think about it because there's no direct play happening in zone 3. Okay? So let's clear up again. Okay, clear up again. Okay, and this time, instead of the ball going directly on an empty base scenario, so nobody on, nobody out, this time it's going to go directly to my shortstop or my left field line. So this line here, that's where my ball's going, okay? Now, a couple things, I should have covered it with my right field one, but if it goes like through the shortstop's leg, they're automatically going into cut position, okay? But in this case, if it goes like directly to the shortstop or right at the left fielder, again, if I'm looking at my boxes here, okay, everybody's going to go to their base. Second base is going to go to his base. First base is obviously going to be at his base, waiting to throw from the shortstop. My shortstop and my center or my left fielder are playing here. So box left is going to be open. Nobody's going to cover box left. Again, zone 2, if nobody's on, the catcher's going to follow the base runner and cover down zone 1. My 9 is going to come again and cover down the box right. Nobody's in this zone. And my center fielder is going to come right here into the corner of our box, center box. And the reason he's at the corner of the center box, it's almost like he's making a direct line from second base to third base, because if this ball comes up here and bounces, it's going to bounce here. Or if it's overthrown here, my center fielder is going to be able to make a play on it here. Now, this guy is also here to make a play on any direct throws that are bad to second base. So you see how we've completely backed each other up just by moving? So if the ball's hit directly to either the shortstop or the left fielder, that's going to be our formation. We almost have a wall of people, our third baseman, second baseman, center fielder. Okay, we have another wall here. And of course my pitcher, I'm sorry, is going to be down here covering zone 1. The pitcher gets used to covering zone 1 when the catcher vacates. Notice how we have another wall here. So 7 misses 4, it goes to 9, so we always have it backed up. The shortstop makes a bad throw, my catcher has it, my right fielder are backing it up. Okay, we have complete coverage, so we don't have to worry about if somebody makes a bad play or just makes a bad throw. Notice how we're constantly covering each other because we're moving constantly. Okay, only open zones, box left in zone 3. Okay. Now, while we've all played the game of baseball long enough to know, it's very, very rare that the ball's ever hit directly at a guy in baseball. It's always making somebody move. So now, let's talk about our gap coverage. Okay, so let's start here and say the ball is hit into that gap there. Okay, the ball is hit to that gap there. Depending on, this is where the center fielder, so like Johnson's normal spot, this is where we get to find out. He takes control of the outfield because he's the center fielder. So if he decides that the play is for 9, or my right fielder, he and the right fielder are going to converge at the ball, but they decide who's going to get it. So one goes behind, one goes in front. Okay? So we'll talk about that. That's more of a practice schematic one. But the key thing here is that the ball's hit to like right center or between my center fielder and my right fielder. Okay, this is where things get a little crazy. These guys are going to converge on the ball and stop the ball, 8 and 9. Okay, my shortstop is going to cover second base. My second baseman is going to right by my box center so he can take the cut. So it's not going, he's going into the box center spot basically because he's the cutoff. My first baseman is going to stay at first base until there's obviously no play. So like he stays until he realizes there's no play at first base. Then he's going to fill that gap. Okay? Pitcher comes down here. Catcher is going to stay put here. And my left fielder is going to come in here, cover the box left again. Third baseman is going to basically stay put. Okay? Now the key is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got everybody accounted for. look at what we've established here. So we got these two are making the play. Our second baseman's taking the cut. Shortstop is trying to get the guy at second base. If we have a bad throw in here and it comes through here, we have our left fielder is going to maintain coverage on that. Our third baseman is going to be married to the base. And the reason that is, if it's a bad throw and a play at second, this guy gets the ball, this guy stays for the play. Now if he vacates, like comes up here to make the play, this is where my pitcher is going to go up and cover third base. But that is not ideal. We don't want pitchers making plays on guys sliding. We want infielders doing that. Okay? But notice again, these two here are our convergence point. They're the ones that are making the play. Second baseman's taking the cut. Shortstop's got the bag. Third base is backing up if it's directly at him, depending on the throw. But realistically, the throw's normally going to come in this pattern. And that's where Connor Gailey's going to be there to save us if he's not pitching. Okay? And that's our, when we're talking about a gapper to like right center field. Okay? Again, these are empty base scenarios. Okay? Tomorrow we're going to be talking a little bit more in depth with what's the scenario look like if it's got a runner on first base, runner on second base, depending on what kind of play we have running, we got that going. So now let's look at the left center play. So we're looking at a ball that is hit up here, right there. So the ball's hitting the gapper there. So again, this time we're going to have 8 and 7 are converging on the ball, which means my right fielder isn't going to stand over here and pick the grass. He's going to cover down in box right. Okay, because the throw is going to be coming into second base most likely, and he is our backup for that. Okay, our second baseman is going to cover down second base. Our shortstop is going to go to the corner of the box center, so he's in position to make the cut. Our third baseman is going to be married there. Our catcher is going to be calling out where the play is going. Now, instead of my pitcher coming down to zone 1 on a left side throw, he's going to cover down right there in zone 1, so he gets any over. So now we have 2 guys covering a bad throw from this way or bad throw from that way. We don't have to worry about anybody getting pulled off the base. Now, the big question is what happens to the first baseman? And this is where the first baseman covers down his play until the runner passes him, and as the runner passes him, he tracks the runner to second base. I know that seems weird, but what that does is what ends up happening is it has a double coverage almost at second base. He doesn't ever cover the base unless the second baseman vacates. But again, that's more of a practice schematic. But for now, I just want to make sure that we're thinking of how do we have 2 guys backing up an errant throw. And I'm not saying that we're worried about the throws going bad, but I want our guys to have the confidence to be able to make a hard play and a hard throw. And to do that, it's a lot easier to know that their teammates have their back. I never questioned when I was trying to throw somebody out from left field at second base if I airmailed it, whether or not the guy was going to get third base. If he tried to get third base, he'd be out because we have too many guys covering it up. Okay? So, I know it's a lot for one day, guys. It's kind of a heavy lift. I can't wait till we get on the field. I'm hoping to hear some good news sooner than later regarding the league start dates and everything. From what I got from my last email, it said that the spring season's probably going to be canceled. We'll know more tomorrow, but I'm assuming after the press conference tomorrow they're going to cancel the spring season. So we'd be looking like a June 22nd start date possibly if they can ease restrictions by then. And if that's the case, we're going to have to try to get on so we can fill all the spots up. But I want the way we move here, it's going to be pretty awesome. And it's also the fundamentals of our trick plays if we have trick plays to go through. So with that being said, I hope that wasn't too much for you. If you have any questions, go ahead and just shoot me an email. At the Swarm email that I email you guys with, and we'll also cover more of those coming on. We have a baseball rules quiz based on some of the content we've sent out this week. And I can guarantee you on the quizzes for the team challenge that every single one of the positions that we covered, so the first, what the number 1 means, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through 9, as well as the zones that I'm covering in this, because I want you guys to start visualizing those zones. Ideally, I should be able to ask you, you're playing left field, the ball's hit to the right center, what zone do you go cover, where are you covering, and you should be able to tell me where you should be on the field. Just by memory by the end of the year would be amazing, but we'll see. Baseball's got a lot of stuff working at it. So thank you again, and hope you guys enjoyed this video on empty base running scenarios.